I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country here on Fish Creek Radio. Our guest is often called the world-class Tennessee yodeler. She is an International Country Music and Gospel Hall of Fame inductee. She was given the Christian Country Music Living Legend Award. She's had 3 number 1 country singles and 8 top 10 hits, as well as 7 number 1 Christian country songs. And we're very happy to have her with us today. This is Margo Smith. How are you today, Margo?
I'm wonderful, except it's raining here today.
Oh, no. Well, that's better than snow, I guess, right?
You got to have the rain, don't you?
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for joining us here on My Kind of Country. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much.
So you've, my goodness, you've had just a monster career and still recording and performing and doing wonderful things with Christian music and country music.
I like them both.
Well, that's fantastic. Folks, remember some of your big number ones. Of course, my favorite is It Only Hurts for a Little While.
Mine, too. I like Don't Break the Heart, and I like Little Things Mean a Lot, but my favorite is It Only Hurts for a Little While. And one of the reasons is because a guy named Mac David, who I wrote songs with later on, wrote that song, It Only Hurts for a Little While. He was a great writer. His brother was Hal David, who worked with Burt Bacharach.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he and I together wrote Still a Woman. He and I together wrote Shuffle Song. He and I wrote Baby My Baby. We wrote a lot of stuff together.
Oh, yeah. You've had a lot of great songs. I remember I think your first big one was There I Said It. That was.
Yeah, I wrote that by myself. And it was a love song, but I actually wrote it about my daddy because we knew I was brought up by an aunt and uncle. They had 4 kids and took me in, and we knew how much he loved us. Every day we knew it, but he couldn't say it. He just didn't say it, so I thought, I'm going to tell my kids every day how much I love them, and I still do. And but I wrote that because of what he couldn't do, and because once you learn to say it, it doesn't hurt at all. It's so easy.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I know a lot of that generation, the guys of that generation. I know my dad was like that too. It was tough for him to say, but
kind of hard.
But boy, they sure would show you in a million different ways, you know.
That's right, they did.
Well, tell me, my goodness, after that song came out, that was a number 8 song for you, and that just started the whole thing. So tell me a little bit about those first days of becoming real popular on country radio.
Oh, the first days I made $15 a show. I would go to Wheeling, West Virginia, and sing for $15. And I sang at places, oh my gosh, if you didn't have a gun, they gave you one when you walked in the door. I sang at places like that. But then later on, I got the bus and the band when I had the number 1 records, and we just went everywhere. I loved traveling. I loved seeing all the people and meeting everybody. And I loved going overseas, and my favorite place was Switzerland. I loved Germany, too, but in Switzerland, I love that because they like yodeling, and if they love you and you're in the audience, and they're in the audience, they light their cigarette lighter. So if I did some shows with Merle Haggard and Buck Owens where there were like 5,000 people in the audience, and then you'd see 5,000 cigarette lighters light up if they liked you.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well,
yeah, very cool.
We have a lot of listeners overseas, so they'll be glad to hear that, and I'm sure they're going to be real happy that you're on our show with us.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you know it, but this summer I had a bad accident. A 16-year-old kid hit me, and I was going home. I volunteer at a place called Freedom Point, and it helps people, and it's a rehab center. And I was coming home, and this kid hit me. He was 16 years old, crushed my hand, my wrist, my leg. I was in rehab for 3 months. And luckily, I'm just fine now. The only thing is my hand hurts me once in a while, but I'm just fine. And I'm so thankful. A lot of people knew about it. A lot of people prayed for me, and I drive now. I do everything just like I did, except it was a long recovery, but my hand hurts me when it's cold or whatever. But I'm good to go one more time.
Well, that's wonderful. I think God was watching out for you on that one.
Yeah.
Well, that was right after you'd done a performance right at Larry's Country Diner.
It was the week after, the very next week,
Wow.
August 20-something. And it was the very next week that this 16-year-old boy came out of nowhere. He ran a red light's what he did.
Oh, boy.
And my car looked like an accordion. It really did. I mean, if I would have had the top down, I wouldn't be here today. But it looked like a little accordion.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better. That's a wonderful thing. Gee, are you
Me too.
Are you back doing shows now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just did a show with my daughter, and I'm doing a show, a big show, July the 8th, and it's going to be country and gospel, and I'm putting it together, and there's 6 or 7 entertainers plus myself.
Wonderful. That's good.
Uh-huh.
That's good to hear. Well, tell me a little bit about your daughter. I noticed you guys have done some recording together.
Holly likes to do commercials, and she's done hair commercials, eyelash commercials, all kind of commercials. But and she loves to sing, but that's what she studied in college, and she sings great. She really does. And down here in the villages, she does Lexus commercials. So everybody knows her kind of down here in the villages. So we did a show together, and people would say, "Oh my gosh, you're the Lexus girl, aren't you?" But Holly sings, and Holly now has 2 boys. They're 11 and 6, and it's hard to believe that she has 2 kids that old, but she does. And she's happily married, and she's just sweet as can be.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice to have someone in the family carrying on the music.
That's right.
Well, you certainly had, my goodness, so many great songs that everybody remembers, and you were a very highly visible star. You were on a lot of TV shows. I know Hollywood Squares. I remember seeing you on there, and the Dinah Shore show of Merv Griffin. And tell me,
I
about
was
some
on
of
Merv
those.
Griffin with Rex Allen Jr. We had a top 10 record called Cup of Tea.
Yeah.
I really liked the song a lot. And we also had While the Feeling's Good, and we also did a yodel song that never got released that was really, really cute called You're the Lady. Yeah, Cinderella Rockefeller. and we yodeled in it together. It was so cute.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, a lot of folks don't know this about you. You are a world-class yodeler, and you teach. You have an instructional DVD out on how to yodel.
Yeah. I've taught some kids how to yodel, and some of them actually were pretty good, but you can only yodel if you can do that, hey, like, huddly, hiddle, huddle, huddly, hiddle, huddle, huddly, hiddle, huddly, hiddle, tee, huddle, huddle, tee, huddly, hiddle, huddly, hiddle, hiddle, huddle, tee, huddly, hiddle, hiddle, huddly, hiddle, hiddle, huddly, hiddle, hiddle, oh, tee, dee, 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 dee. That's hard in the morning.
Wow. That's got to be hard any time during the day. Well, you have a song, He Taught Me How to Yodel, and that high note at the end, man, that's just incredible.
Well, thank you. That was probably a high A, I think. Without a piano, I just started it out, so I think that was a high A.
That's fantastic. Well, you've got a cookbook that you've done too, right?
I do, yeah. I was actually looking at it last night because I had people over, and I made a pineapple upside-down cake. And I had Tammy Wynette's cookbook laying right here on my counter.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did some shows with her. I did a tour with her and Ronnie Millsap, oh my gosh, in the 70s, and she autographed the cookbook and gave it to me, and I said, oh my gosh, and I have it right here on the counter, and I actually used some of her recipes.
Wow.
She's a great lady, so nice, so great cook, too. A lot of people don't know that about her, but she was really a great cook.
Oh, that's fantastic. Did you guys get to do some shows together?
Yeah, I did a tour with her.
Oh, wow.
And she would say, Margo, teach me how to yodel. And finally I said, you know what? You don't need to yodel. You have all these #1 songs. You are the queen of it all. Let me do it. She said, okay, I will. Yeah, she's a great gal.
She had that cry in her voice, and you had the yodel.
Yeah, what a great voice she had.
Absolutely. Well, do you still play the Grand Ole Opry every now and then?
Well, I haven't for a long time because I live down here in Florida, but I do believe June the 14th, Holly and I are going to do, it's fanfare, and they've asked Holly and I to do a number, and it'll be Christian, but it'll be at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good.
June the 14th.
Well, folks can look for that. And I do want to mention margosmith.com. You have all your wonderful music is there, including your gospel CDs that you've done and your cookbook and all that great stuff. So folks can check that out there. And then, of course, you have music available on Amazon and iTunes. And of course, we play it here on My Kind of Country, too. So if you tune in, you'll hear Margo Smith.
My Kind of Country.
Well, that's wonderful, Margo. And I'm so glad that you're doing well. And it's good to hear.
And thank you, Scott, for calling, and I just keep playing that country music.
You got it. It's a pleasure. Margo Smith, thank you for being on My Kind of Country.
Thank you so much.
All right. Here is one of Margo's biggest hits. It Only Hurts for a Little While as My Kind of Country continues right here on Fish Creek Radio.